reviews and more. Hey, and the Dreamweaver Arts. And if it's Tuesday, we're broadcasting live, obviously, on over 103 outlets around the world. And it's really interesting because I've been looking forward to this show for a while. I wasn't sure how this is going to work. It's always challenging when we add extra people in. But there's so many people that want to be on the show. That's a great thing. Like Moses West, you've been scheduled for months and months and months, but you've been on once, and it was great to see you again and have you again. So when it comes to Moses, he's that inventor, that entrepreneur, veteran, minority owned. It's about pulling water from the air. And that's important these days with water shortages and all kinds of things going on. He's also got the Moses West Foundation, which is really, really important. I'm glad to say he's one of our friends, and I can't wait to see him pretty soon. The one and only Moses West from the Moses West Foundation. After that, we've got Andy from the original we gotta say Handlebar Jack. And I like this because I found him a year ago at the Electrify Expo. I like finding these companies that people may or may not know about because they're all important. And when it comes to bikes or e-bikes, accessories, and things like that, especially if you have a flat tire, he's got the only product that I've seen that fixes these things. When you want to have something like that, you need that emergency, he's that go-to guy. He's also that entrepreneur. He's also that inventor. And he's got, I think, one of the best products in the world out there when it comes to these accessories like this. And this is why I wanted to have him in. Also, my friend Ismail Hernandez, my also drum cornet. We come from the world of drum and bugle corps. But when he's not doing that, he's that mellophone player, that trumpet player, that drummer. And he does a lot of great things with kids. And it's always good to see my friend. He was at our showcase at the Hudson Theater not too long ago. When it comes to that, it's also about ADT security and ADT solar. So he's going to talk about why solar panels are good and why that company is really good. And then my friend, I've been talking to him for the longest time. I saw him at Toy Fest, and I like this guy. James is really interesting. He's an inventor. He's an entrepreneur. He's an artist. And I like his game. I've been telling everybody about it since April. He invented the 3D Tic Tac Toe crystal clear game that I love. And I found him in the corner, and I was honored to talk to him, and he just fascinated me. So he's all the way from Michigan, James Jackson III. Obviously, we have Chef Rachel Roberts from Houston, Texas, and she's got a lot of stuff going on. And it's always fun to talk to my friend when it comes to her. Howard Wiggins from Nashville, Tennessee. Dabra Dan, and Howard, I know you got a couple things going on because our friend Trixie was in California talking about a movie that you're in going on. And also the one and only nonstop Terri Marie. I've been wanting to get things going with her on her artist stuff, bringing out more of her creativity. So with this, I got to start this off. Thank you for everybody to be here because you didn't have to be here, but I'm glad that you are. So Moses, we got to start with you because you've been busy since the last time we saw you. Talk about your foundation and what else has been going on.
Well, what we've been doing in the foundation is continuing to raise money so that we can help some of these communities that need water. So a few years when we started with the technology, it seemed like science fiction to everyone, but now it's the reality of where we are with climate change and water scarcity. When you have a machine that you can sit in your backyard and pull 1,250 gallons of water out of the air cheaper than you can pull it out of the ground, it's a game changer. So the foundation is marching forward, continue to educate. We're working with the National Institute of Building Sciences now, and we're looking at implementing the technology across the United States. And I just brought on a new interim CEO, corporate manager, to do all these things, take pre-orders going into 2024. We're already taking orders for machines going into the third and fourth quarter of next year.
Hey Moses, talk about why your machines are important. You made that one of a kind, which is really, really important, and obviously working with the government on this, which I think sets you apart, but also being minority owned. You have to put that factor in there because you're all over the place doing a lot of things for a lot of people who desperately need this stuff.
Yes, the importance of the technology. Why is it so important right now? Is all we have to do is just look at the. I stopped looking at the news. I can't look at it anymore. But we have water scarcity and water contamination issues everywhere. They just came out and told everyone that we have the forever chemicals and plastics in the water, and everybody's drinking it. We've all got it in our bodies. So on this this wild idea that I had years ago was to make sure that we could get completely off the grid, power wise and water wise. And I've done it several times, but now the reality is here, and it's been a very busy year.
Hey,
And I
Andy,
know
talk
this.
about. Okay, go ahead, Terry.
I just because being here in California and having a garden that's dying because we can't water our gardens. So how would that affect? I mean, because it's part of the environment. I mean, everybody here has got brown grass. So could it help with things like that? I mean, especially there's a lot of issues here with water in California. So that was one of my questions.
Absolutely. When thinking outside of the box, right now, what I could do with every home in the state of California, every home could produce their own food, produce their own water, and do it all on solar power. You could take an entire neighborhood completely off the grid.
And that would cut the cost also because again, we've got a cost issue, we've got the water shortage. So that'd be great. I mean, because it would bring a lot of joy to people's gardens again here in California.
Okay, wait.
Brian,
Rachel. For 2 months I have had, and it's because we have contaminated water. So my neighbor, he saw my morning coffee talk show. I have a morning show called Coffee Talk, and I was talking about how I have had for like 2 months and we couldn't figure it out. So the guy behind me calls me and he's like, Rachel, I've had it since January, and it turned out I'm C. diff positive and candida levels are high, which means we have contaminated water. So now we're going through this whole thing with the city of Houston trying to get people to come out here because our water is somewhere tied into one of the sewer lines or some crap like that. And it's affected me, it's affected my son. So I definitely understand the importance of what you're doing. This goes way beyond your plants turning brown, which by the way,
Hey, Moses, she was excited that you were going to be on because of what's been going on in Houston, because you know what goes on in Houston.
Oh,
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I've been eating toast for 2 weeks.
Well, Houston, y'all have a unique problem. When Hurricane Harvey came through there and y'all flooded out, I had some big machines at the military base. We had soldiers get sick when they walked around in the flood water because Houston is a big Superfund site. It was industry everywhere, toxic industries everywhere, oil and gas industries were located all over Houston. They closed them down. They built houses where it used to be toxic contamination. So if you just look up the Superfund site map for Houston, so when it rains and floods, it's like a big soup bowl.
3 times I have flooded in my house.
That's what's causing your problem.
3 times I've flooded.
When that water comes up, it goes not only to your house, but from the chemical plant to your house. That's the problem.
Well,
one of the things. Okay,
we were just talking about this a couple days ago. When I was a kid and we would flood, we would walk through the streets. I've been in this house since 1978. So like I said, when it would flood here, we could walk through the water and swim in it outside. Mom and Dad, they didn't care. It was not a big deal. But somewhere along the lines, it's become now, I tell my kids, don't touch the water. Be careful of the water. It's dirty. It's like sewer water. And you can, it's not the same as it used to be.
Leading up to Andy on this is one of the reasons why
you can't drink the tap water.
You need to have bikes and things like that, just in case you have those emergencies, huh, Andy? Talk about your company and why that's also needed, because when there's a catastrophe, you're not necessarily going to be able to drive or anything like that, so you got to get out of Dodge some kind of way, right?
Yeah, my company kind of was kind of born out of necessity, where I was, I live in Los Angeles in California as well, and I work in Santa Monica, but I also lived in El Segundo, which was about 11 miles away, and I, sit in front of a computer all day and want to be a little more healthy. And I wanted to start riding my bike to work, but I also didn't want to be like a sweaty mess. So this was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago when e-bikes were kind of starting to get a little popular on the cutting edge of things. And, I convinced the CFO to let me get a bike. And so I started riding to work, just commuting to work and, trying to be green, trying to be healthy. And my background is in product design, and so I like to be prepared. So as I was getting all my little tools and everything ready to take this 11-mile, 22-mile round trip trek every day, I was realizing that I just spent a couple $1,000s on a bike, and if I have to repair a flat tire, which tend to happen a lot in the early days of e-bikes, and they still happen now, is that the easiest thing to do is when you're a kid is you just flip the bike over and you change your tire and you do whatever repairs you need to do. But with the e-bikes, they have screens, they have buttons, they have other shifters and things that if you break those, then your e-bike it's a big brick. It doesn't really work or can cost hundreds of dollars to fix it. So my little tinker brain started working, and I started making what I call the original Handlebar Jack, which is it evolved into a little purpose-built tripod that basically would go onto your handlebars. So when you flip your bike over, the tripod is what's on the ground and your handlebars are resting off the ground. And this was just me in my garage. I had a 3D printer I got for my birthday, and I was just playing around. And I was at a buddy's house in Utah for Christmas. And I showed it to him, and he's like, big mountain biker. And he's like, oh my God, these are amazing. You should patent and sell these. I'm like, what? And they're like, no. No. And he's like, yeah, you really should. So I started looking into it, and then I got an Etsy site, and then I started selling a few here and there. And then, and at this point, I'm just making them myself from a 3D printer. And I was sending out some review samples to YouTube people and stuff like that. And I got a really good favorable review, and my orders went from like 2 or 3 every 2 or 3 weeks to having hundreds of back ordered. So I basically bought a lot more 3D printers, had this little 3D print farm in my garage, and fast forward a year into it, I'm about 3 or 4 years into it now, but the first year I made, assembled, packaged, and shipped 3,500 units out of my garage. And so from there, I was able to kind of scrape together some money for some tooling, and I'm really big on trying to keep everything in like North American manufacturing. So I just Googled some injection molding plants and started calling around. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I got lucky and found a really good manufacturing partner in Reno. And we've been making them, ever since. The last couple of years, we've expanded our product line, and I had my patent issued, which is kind of a big bucket list thing. I had my patent issued in November. So, but the core of our company goes back to, besides just selling this widget, right, and hopefully making people's lives better. Our motto is like, we take the worry out of roadside repair. Like, we don't want biking. It should be fun and recreational. Like, you don't want to have to worry about breakings, anything. So like, we're just there to help people kind of, enjoy what they need to do. And if they break down, then, we got them covered as far as, fixing your stuff. But we also, besides selling the plastic widget, we want to be good partners in the community. It's taking our family values and kind of, transposing these onto the company. So, and actually I'm wearing a shirt right now. And this is a local unhoused organization that works putting people in jobs and back on their feet. So we're proud to take what little profits we're making at this point and kind of spreading it around, and just being a positive force for good, and just hopefully modeling this kind of good kind of behavior for my kids and family. So, but I could talk a lot, so I don't know if you guys realize that. So,
Hey, Moses, does that sound familiar of kind of how you started? Because James, we're coming to you next. You guys know what this is like to start from nothing, right?
Got that right.
Yeah. Hey, Moses, you're on mute.
Absolutely. Starting out, I had to convince the state of Texas and the United States military that this was a viable idea, and I did that when no one else in the United States was doing this, telling me you could pull water out of the air, and then trying to convince the people over the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality and Department of Defense that this was possible. And we did that at Trinity University back in 2015. Got approved. We did it. I started producing water out of the air cheaper than you can actually pump it out of the ground. And this year, what I'm going to do is I moved the decimal points probably 2 places to the left on energy consumption. So that means the energy consumption now is it's cheaper than it costs less energy for me to make a bottle of water than it does for you to go to the store and buy a case of water. And that was the game changer in what we needed to do. And that part of the technology, I developed that, I patented it, publicized that. But then what I did was I've gone back to using trade secrets only, because I know where we're at with water, and everything that I do with a piece of technology today, I'm the only person that does it that way. At some point in time in the future, maybe companies will catch up, but they're all thinking inside the box and not outside of the box. And another thing that we do, we've always done the humanitarian work with the foundation, with the Moses West Foundation, and I named it after myself because we don't live forever. So all the patents, trade secrets, and everything, and all the profit that it makes in the future when everyone catches on, it goes into that foundation. Then that foundation is used to help people beneficially benefit from what we do with this technology. But it's not just producing water. With the technology, we also are able to now grow food anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're in the North Pole, the South Pole, sitting on top of a glacier, sitting in the middle of a desert. We can change the desert back from desert to forest, and it's not hard to do. It's just had to think outside of the box. And so what now with the technology, it's a worldwide technology. It's not limited to the equatorial zones of the planet. We can grow food, we can produce water, and we can do it all on sunlight. So every food desert that's in the United States today, every homeless person in the United States today, we have a garden here at my house. And what we're doing is we're just growing food here. I have machines I don't have one here at my house, but we have machines up at the manufacturing plant, and we're working on the big 5,000 liter systems again. One of those 5,000 liter systems in Chicago, downtown, in a greenhouse, would work 365 days a year off of solar power, feed an entire neighborhood, and provide them with clean drinking water. And now there's no limit to the size. And I can say this now because I've already signed the documentation. We're working closely with a global manufacturer now. So within the next 6 months, we will be a global manufacturing company in this technology.
Congratulations! I've been waiting for that, and that's why
That's
I've been
amazing.
watching that. So when it comes to, go ahead, Andy. We gonna say something?
No, I was just going to ask how big the units are.
Oh, they're all the way from the fit in the bed of a pickup truck to where I have to use a crane to pick them up.
Okay.
I like to stick with the 20-foot ISO container, and that one weighs about 26,000 pounds. And that's the system that we took to Puerto Rico. And
Nice.
we worked on the island of Vieques after Hurricane Maria, and we supplied the entire island with all of their drinking water. It was the only place after Hurricane Maria that did not need to be resupplied by FEMA with drinking water, and we did that on solar power. That's the first time that ever happened anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Completely outstanding.
Hey, so I got to go into that with Rachel because she has her garden, and then James, I'm coming to you next. So Rachel, tell them who you are, what you do about your garden, because it gets into that food. Because Moses, we have been watching that. We want to do something with shrimp, clams, and something else that we came up with inside on the farm. So yeah, I hear you on that. Go ahead, Rachel. Rachel.
Okay, hi, I'm Rachel Roberts. I'm a little chef here in Houston, Texas. I have a show in the mornings you can see on social media called Coffee Talk. I'm going to be on the news tomorrow morning with Fox 26 News. You'd have to tune in to the Houston Fox News at a little coffee shop with Ruben Dominguez. I'm really excited about that and working with them. But I also have my own TV show that I'm shooting episodes for. It's the a cooking show, a little bit of a comedy cooking show, and so I'm a hoot. A lot of fun to watch. I'm also doing, I've been working with Brian for quite a while now as a co-host for Movie Reviews and More. I really enjoy that. He's got all sorts of great people on all the time, including you guys. And I've got another podcast that I do a little stuff on that I'm working on called I Want That. And, lots of fun things coming up. Got some commercials that we're shooting soon for Gubba Rum and a lot of fun stuff coming up. So thank you, Brian, for including me on Movie Reviews and More. I always enjoy it.
All right, so James and Rachel, in October, you're getting a scooter, just so you know.
You want
I
more?
said yes. You're going to get one now. So you got your own e-scooter coming. Terry's getting something else. So James, talk about this. It's about your art. It's about you also being that that inventor, that entrepreneur, and you've got a long history of stuff. Let's show a couple clips of your art and talk about this first, and then let's go into your 3DT.
Okay, this particular piece is a piece that is 12 foot tall, and it's a sundial, but it also tells time. And it's made out of plexiglass, and it changes colors. It's like a skin on the little animals that change colors. Well, that's what this does when the light and the sun hits it in different directions. So this particular piece stands up on its own. So I'm into solar. I'm into water. I have the first patent on water equals water, which is a flood control device that stops floods. I put it up in Chicago. And this particular piece is a piece taken off, like dealing with the pyramids and the light coming through, that you can imagine how it would come through and hit certain walls and bounce the light through to light up the place. So that's kind of what inspired this piece.
And this one right here, I like this one.
Yeah, this particular piece changes colors. Every line you see changes different colors, and it's a free form. Again, this is a sundial, but it's not welded together. It's all slipped and locked together by its own mechanism. And then there's a center piece that is made like a if you can imagine a round top that comes into a sphere, and the sphere goes through the two parts which holds it all together. But it changes colors and light.
So talk about this, James. Talk about your 3D also, your Tic Tac Toe, because that's how I found you, which is interesting.
Yes, the Tic Tac Toe is a game. That piece right there is a piece made for Obama when he became president. It stands for, there's a black man holding up the sailboat. That's the sailboat for the country. This is what this country was built on, was the sailing. And for the first time, you had a black man holding up the sails for this country. That's what that piece is about. But in the center of that piece, I don't know if you can see the center of it, it has when the light hits that, it has a pyramidology thing again that shoots back through, and the color bounces on the back side. And that's a welded piece.
All right, so James, talk about this. Hold on. Talk about this. Talk about your 3D Tic Tac, and then we'll get to this one too. And then Ismail, come over here.
What happened was when my wife was sick with cancer, and I had an art show that was due, and she said, "Why don't you do a picture with Tic Tac Toe?" I thought it was a crazy idea. I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So I did a picture, and then when she passed away, I kept looking at that picture, and I'm thinking, I should do a 3-dimensional Tic Tac Toe. So I took some cardboard and I sit and I worked with it for like 4 months, and I ended up coming up with a design, and I put the design together, and nobody could build it. I went to 3 companies in Grand Rapids, 2 companies in Holland, Michigan, 2 companies in Chicago, and they said it is too hard to build. So I went to the office in Ann Arbor, and on my way home I thought, I'm going to redesign it. So I redesigned it that night, and I put it together so it all locks together, and they were able to build it. And I went back to a company, and they wouldn't build it for me. For 2.5 years, I chased them, and my first prototype, they built, and then they built a couple more. They built 4 more for me. I won't tell you what it cost. The bottom line is, when I asked them about production, they said it would cost $168 for one. And the boxes was going to cost me $8 a piece. And I'm thinking, I can't sell anything for that amount of money. So I went to a show in California, and a lady was sitting there, and she says, I noticed her watching the kids play the game. And then she walked up and she says, I can make that. I said, you can make this? She said, yes. And I found out that she was the vice president of sales for a China company. So I went back home and I thought, I want this American-made product, but I couldn't find the price. So I sent her the prototype. She said, I'll have you some units made in 12 days. I sent her the total box. She sent me 12 boxes back with the box, all the parts made, everything made, including the literature, for $20-some. And that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against when you start talking about black minority and dealing with business. We have to take a gamble sometimes. Well, I took a gamble. She made 3,600 units. I sent to my first buyer a store that's in Grand Rapids that has 264 stores, and it's looking good. So
well, here's the thing about it is
cool.
what James is not getting to is when I found him at Toy Fest, I found this 3D, and I told Rachel about this 3D Tic Tac Toe game, interchangeable, and how he built it, fascinating. I had never seen one, and I knew a lot of people hadn't seen it, and I thought it was great, and I said, I got to have this guy on one day. Again, being that inventor, you guys are inventors. It's not easy coming up with the things that you come up with, but the things that you created for the world are fascinating, and that's why I always want to have things like this on our show. And leading into that, James was talking about solar panels, so I got to get to you because time is going quick. Talk about ADT Solar. We know them as a security company, but a lot of people don't know them as solar, do they?
Oh, no, they don't. And thank you very much. I've been trying to get on the show with Brian for a while. He has tremendous inventors and entrepreneurial people in the spirit. That's kind of how we connected. Yes, I'm kind of like Superman. There's Superman that goes out and saves the day for all the kids. I love music, helping out programs, all kinds of artistic programs. And I said, during the day, even Superman had to be Clark Kent. So I said, what am I going to do with my time? 22 years in mortgage, industry's in the tank. What do I do with my time to make it count? And how can I do that and then help others? So I started interviewing, couldn't find anything I liked for 3 months. And then finally, of course, everybody's doing solar. Small little companies, these little guys, they started talking. 7 companies I interviewed in 7 days. And then one day I got a blip from ADT Solar. I said, you know what? I like that company. And I want to be a part of someone that's going to stand behind their name because they've been around for 148 years. Talked to the recruiter. We got to talking. And when you get to know me, you'll know I'm high energy for making a positive win-win-win situation. And I'll tell you, I'm a gambler and I don't like to lose. Got in with ADT. And it was even better than I expected. I have a really great boss who I worked with to be able to put something together for everybody. And I said, you know what? I come from the mortgage industry. I'd rather make less and make my customers happy and have a bunch of deals and make a lot of friends. And he says, you know what? We got a program, a referral program, where you can now help all these. We're in Drum Corps, and then obviously you have different entities that you're a part of. The Water District, Coffee Talk, everything. Any referrals, you could become an advocate and actually get really good referral money back to you. I'd rather give it back to you to keep keeping referrals going and seeing the positiveness in your communities. I know $1,000 for one deal can go a long way for, for a mission needing some soups. So whatever.
Here's that clip, is it? Let's take a look at this clip real quick.
Oh, yeah. So they've been in business for 148 years. Like I said, I interviewed 7 companies, big companies, and just wasn't sold until I actually talked to ADT. Now let me talk. Yay. The little blue sign.
I have ADT at home.
Isn't it great? They've been around a long time.
Yeah, I have. I said I have ADT myself.
Yeah, no, and it's great.
Yeah,
and
I have ADT. I've had. Yeah, I love it. In fact, I used to have my home security was tied in, I think, with like Comcast. I had some bundle package. I liked ADT because it was the only one that after a flood, they would insure all the camera systems and all of those things. The other companies, they wouldn't do that, but ADT does. But I've never heard of ADT Solar. So does that mean that ADT does the solar panels?
I'm so excited.
I didn't know that. They never told me about
right.
this.
They're getting into they've been getting into the business in certain areas. In fact, when I got with Brian, I said, I gotta be on the show, not because I gotta make money, but it's because in the next week or two, we're actually going into the LA, Los Angeles County area now, the Valley, LA. So we're growing into the big metropolitan areas. We're using the best equipment. And honestly, between all the companies, they all sell panels. They have different systems, some cheaper than others. You got to know what you're getting into. So education is a big part of what I want to do for people. Mm-hmm. But the main thing, and it's the reason why I took this position, is it's ADT. They put a lot of finance into the infrastructure of the solar division. We got the best panels, and the main thing is we have the best warranties. So you're right. We warranty not only the panels, we warranty the batteries, we warranty the labor, and we also warranty the production. So if we promise you're going to make this much, you're going to get that, or the company is going to pay for it. And then again, at the end of the day, and I did interview with 7 companies. I'm not going to say their names. I went to their training, went to meet the people, a little not as professional, um, kind of the fly by nights. And I just tell people, look, at the end of the day, you're going to get a system because it's going to save you money and it's the way to go. But when there's a problem, that's when you're going to have issues. And saving that $8 a month isn't worth it. This company, what makes us a little different is we have our own employees. We have tons of employees that do the security. We also have our own installers. So when there's an issue with your system, we actually have our own employees that go out, grab the parts, fix it. Other companies utilize what do they call them? I can't
Subcontractors.
Yeah, they use subcontractors. So, try working with a subcontractor. Try working with an insurance company to get your issues fixed. Oh no, 1-800-ADT, and we're handling it. So to me, that was the value of me wanting to work for ADT and wanting to sell it. But more importantly, I was telling Brian, ADT, every deal that we get, especially in the LA market or whatever market, they're giving $1,000. It's quite a bit of money per referral. And again, it's not coming out of my commission. It's not any funny stuff. The company is giving it to the referring party, and it's your money to do with what you want. Where you like to get involved with musical programs, artistic programs, outreach. Hey, take the money, do a good for the customer, and then do good whoever you want to. And that's why I felt like, man, this is a win-win-win. And next week we get into LA County. So we're going to go in there and we're going to blazon the trail and educate people. I'm not saying I'm going to hot sell everybody. I'm going to educate them on how it works, the batteries, the consumption. It's really cool. And I like to empower people. I want to put my laptop in front of them and say, you design your system how you want it. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to show you how it works. We got lots of discounts. And obviously anybody that comes to the show is going to get special promotions and all the promotions that we can offer.
And I already talked to his boss, Jesse, about that. So,
and he's a great guy. He's totally behind it. I told him there's a lot of people here that we're working with that are artists, inventors, and they're talented at what they're doing. And they want to use those talents to help people. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to make some money to sustain myself, but I want to be Superman too and fly. So Clark Kent's got to work during the day, but then when we get to see what you do with the referral money and then you start posting it, that's really the excitement that I'd like to see. Because one, it's coming from ADT to you, and you get up to 200 transactions, and they don't even send you a 1099. So a lot of good stuff. We'll have shows to teach you and people about solar, but as well as a referral program. There's lots to get there. We're about to get into LA County. And, everybody I've talked to that got solar systems, every one of them, as picky as they are, everybody's been satisfied. So to me, it was an industry to get into because I like to make people happy. And that's what makes me happy. And if they benefit and they're happy, and they get money, it makes...
Ish. Talk about that photo because you're going to drum corps this week. I'm not, unfortunately. Talk about this photo.
So
Why this is important for us.
So this is me back in the day. I was a product of a great teacher teaching me how to play an instrument. I was a saxophone player, baritone sax. He said, we only have brass here, so you're going to have to learn to play this horn. And if you notice, it has 2 valves. It's custom. I had a great education from him. I had a wonderful career marching and winning. And then for 25 years, I took that knowledge and I taught high school bands, underprivileged, won titles with them. And I tell you, I have over 10,000 students that I saw their eyeballs and their smiles. And I said, you know what? This is it. So ADT is going to help me be able to make a living. It's Clark Kent. But I'll be Superman when we can give back and see people really benefiting. Maybe scholarship money to get involved in camps that they want to get into. All kinds of stuff, right? It's whatever.
Give the social media links for it. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, and I'm super excited. So, yeah, I'm going to the finals this week. We have alumni pages. Everybody's talking about, oh, you guys got ADT? Yeah, and if you have ADT, I could save you $30 a month forever if you sign up with our solar on your security system, where the guys come out blazing with guns. If they break into your home, they can cut $30 off. So a lot of good things that Jesse's throwing our way as a manager.
Wow.
To make our customers really happy.
Come on, Ish. Give social media links. Give the links. Come on.
And we're gonna go for a touchdown.
Give the social media links.
Yeah, you need to add me.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, you need to
There
add.
it is.
Yeah, send me messages. I'm interested because I have ADT, and I've had people come out and talk to me about solar panels, and in the past it was, you didn't, the way that my roof was shaped, it wasn't, I wouldn't get a big enough thing. But now they can put them on your, I understand you can put them outside on the ground. There's
Yep.
new things that have come out, and in Texas they're huge. I have
Oh, yeah.
friends too that have become involved in the solar panel sales and stuff. But I still haven't done it, but I am an ADT customer. So reach out to me, find me on Rachel Roberts Recipes, and make sure we are stay connected, because I would be interested in hearing about it. And also we can, and I don't know about in California, but in Texas, there's all sorts of government. They give you discounts when you get the
Yes.
solar panels, and there's all sorts of, it makes the
Right.
price doable.
I'll make sure that reaches out to you with
Yeah.
Jesse.
And just
Terri, tell them who you are real quick. We're running out of time.
Okay. Oh, geez. I have lots to say always today. But anyway, this is Terri Marie. I'm a fitness competitor. I placed in Fitness Universe, NPC, Muscle Beach. I placed first and second place. I've been with Brian since 2015.
And she drives me nuts.
No, I don't. I
She does.
try not to. Well, anyway, I have two music videos coming out with Wicked Star. They're a rock band. Those two videos are coming out in September. I'm excited about that. Also, I'll talk more about later on. I'm going to be working with my corporate life. I'm in corporate sales too, but I'm going to be working with some professional football teams, and I'm so excited because I'm going to be working with their sports doctors. So that's going to be a new chapter in my life, and I'll talk more about it. But that's really exciting. And then now I'm an expert on how to tent and get rid of bugs in your house. That was done.
All right.
Anybody that was following my nightmare with the bees that were in my house and the termites and stuff, had the house tented. It went well. I went with Western Exterminators. They were great. I had great service, and I'm very pleased. And
See,
you can
this is
find
why
me.
people want to come on. They all have something to say, and rightfully so. Howard, what are you
That's
wearing today?
awesome.
What room are you in?
I'm in my master bedroom. I just did a video this last week with Christine Lucas that it's exciting. That's going to be out in about 2 weeks, where I was dancing through it. And we just had a great time. Let's see. To Wednesday night, tomorrow night, I'm going to the art gallery where I usually dance and post a video there. The video that we shot the other day, I took 12 outfits.
Cool.
We only used 3 of them, but I had 12 to choose from. So you know how I am. I'm gonna surprise everybody like I usually do. So
Howard, and
But
you look
anyway.
good. You don't even look your age today. You look like you're 35 with a beard.
I look what?
You look like you're 35 years old with a beard. He does. He looks good.
Yeah.
Must
Well,
be
I
that
kind of went
balance
with the
of water, huh,
1930s look now, with a little handlebar mustache, a little bit, and the straw hat and the bow
Ferals.
tie suspenders. So.
Ferals.
Yeah. All right, we
Anyway.
got about 4
I
minutes
have,
left. We
I
got to
have
be
a
real quick.
question on the solar
Okay, go ahead,
panel.
Howard. Go
Is
ahead.
that
Go ahead.
just for security, or is that to take you off the electric grid and solar your whole house?
No, we're still on the grid. Security is one division. We're a separate division. But now we do have the Q Cell 400 panels, which are the top of the line, which is the only thing we use. So you will get more power production. So as Rachel was saying, hey, it didn't have enough power before. Well, let's check it out now. The only thing I was going to add is we are currently in 33 states. So this broadcast can go to a lot of people everywhere. And if it comes to the show, we can still refer it to someone to still get them the benefits and the price cuts that we already kind of prearranged. So yeah, we're in 33 states, really looking to help anybody. Main thing is I want to educate people, because the more you know, the better your decision is. And I'm not a salesman. I'm here to show you how you can save money. There's different ways to do the solar. And at the end of the day, I want to see you do it and be happy with it.
All right, Andy, go for it. And you're on mute.
Okay, well, Brian, I really appreciate you having me on the show. We met a couple years ago, and I saw you again this summer at the expo. But if you have an e-bike or a regular bike and you need some quality, USA made repair tools, come check out my website at handlebarjack.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where I educate everybody about all things bike and e-bikes. So you can just find me at Handlebar Jack on YouTube as well.
And very important because he's got a great product out there. It made me happy to come and find him, and I call him a friend. And again, I wanted him on a couple months ago. Just time and schedule. It's hard to get everybody in, as you
It's so
see.
hard.
I'm not lying about this stuff. We're already at the booking the third week of January. It's not easy doing all this stuff. Moses, website, what do you got coming up? Because I know you got some big news going into the end of the year.
Oh, the big things that are coming up right now is we're building the 5,000 liter systems. I'm building a couple of systems to go into Peru to help with the water contamination issue they've got there. I've got folks from Austin coming by to visit. We're doing something huge here going into next year that everybody in one political party is going to know about, what we're going to be supplying water for. So I'll wait till that's all finished up. But the 5,000 liter systems, they're going to be available for people to purchase right along with the small systems that I build. And also, I got
Social
an
media
award
links.
from
Yeah, you
social
got an
media.
award too. That's right.
Yeah, from Dr. Bernice King. I got a few awards. I'm not keeping up with them because the main thing to me is just turning wrenches and building equipment. But yeah, I got an award from the beloved community, the Martin Luther King Foundation, and that's where I met the guys from the National Institute of Building Sciences, and that's where we're trying to eliminate. We're in the process right now of eliminating the food desert in the United States or anywhere globally, but focusing on here in the United States, using solar power, completely green, 100% renewable. And I went to the United Nations, and goal number 6 out of the 18 tenets of sustainability is actually my name. So
That's a big, huge thing. Congratulations on that. Social media links, Moses.
the Moses West Foundation, please go there, donate to the foundation, because what that does is it educates people, and it gets machines out to people that need them when there's an emergency, and it helps on just getting more people in to teach kids to how to do this, how to turn wrenches, how to weld, how to work HVAC. And so the Moses West Foundation and my company is AWG Contracting, and you just go there and see what equipment I build. And search the web. There's all kinds of
and
information
rock
out
stars
there.
really like Moses too. I hadn't forgotten about that, Moses.
Yeah, I meet a few people. It's funny when you're sitting there and someone calls you up and they say on the other end of the line, "Hello, this is Carlos Santana," and I was like, "Wow."
Exactly.
Nice.
It's like, what do you say? It's like, "Hey, I've been listening to your music since I was 10."
Exactly. Rachel Roberts, social media links. Go for it.
That's awesome. Hey, okay, so guys, I hope all of you watch tomorrow morning Coffee Talk. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be with Fox 26 News, Ruben Dominguez going live, and we're going to do a little bit of coffee talk before I go on the news with him. So make sure you find me, Rachel Roberts Recipes. That's what you Google it. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, and you can see me every morning doing Coffee Talk.
Howard Wiggins.
Just Howard Wiggins Facebook, plain and simple. On James's art, where I actually thought that was art that you were doing, not Tic Tac Toe toys, but I thought it was a sculpture because I'm all into art, and that's a beautiful piece, and I would buy it just to look at it. It's gorgeous.
So James, I'm just gonna have you give your social media links, and then we're gonna schedule another date for you because when Howard likes something, he's got to have it in one of his mini mansion rooms. That's all I'll say. And if Howard likes it, that says something. James, give your social media links if you know it, or website.
Well, it's called 3DT Games, or Sport Jackson 3 at gmail.com.
Then you can reach out to me on that. Go ahead, Moses. I know you're asking something.
Moses West Foundation. On Instagram.
See,
I need
that's why
to
I ask
talk to
people.
Moses, give me a call.
Will do.
Okay.
All right.
I have a flood control device, guys, that would solve 80% of the water problems. Check it out. 86 was the patent. It's a
All
mother
right, James.
patent.
All right, James.
Thank
We're
you.
going to save that for another show. I'll find the
Okay.
date for you. Terri Marie, social media links real quick.
Nonstop Terri Marie on all platforms, and then my website is terrimarie.com, where you can see some of my hosting videos and my fitness stuff.
All right, everybody. I got to thank you for this. This is not easy doing these shows like this. I can pull hair out if I had hair. But I'm glad that everybody's here because it's important because you're all inventors, entrepreneurs, and things like that. And as I also say, I didn't even get a chance to talk about movies. I'll get criticized for that. All right, but here's a good movie on Amazon Prime. Elvis Presley, 68 Comeback Tour. I'm not an Elvis fan, but it's really, really good. My friend John Felt directed it. Lioness, Special Ops on Paramount
was
Plus.
good.
Excellent show, excellent series. And then the last thing, Goliath. Wilt Chamberlain documentary on Showtime. If you get a chance to watch it, and Little Richard. I'm going to leave you with that. As I always say, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. If you see someone without a smile, because Howard always gives one, so does Rachel and Terri. Give them one of yours. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Right.